Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Ross Bailey here, Friendly Product Specialist, with another Learning with Line 6. And we're going to look at a new toy. We've got a new thing. This is the HX1. Brand new to me. I haven't had a huge amount of time with this, so we are absolutely going to be learning on the spot. But let's get the awkward bit out of the way and do the sound stuff. So this is what my voice sounds like, as always. It's the only one I've got. It isn't great, but there you go. And here is the guitar. Hopefully the levels are all right. I'll fill for a minute and let someone kind of say, yeah, we are all good to go. Sound the back. Sat in the back of the van. Holiday, hope you're on. Yes, mate. All good. John Cordy in the house. Kai Down in the house. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully the sound is good, and someone will say levels are good. Amazing. Cheers, Kai. Right. So HX1. We launched a new thing. So what is HX1? Right. So there's already a little bit of confusion. This is a single effect stump box. So this goes on your board and gives you one effect at a time. It doesn't do amp modeling. There are no amps in there. There are just, that was good, sweet, sounding his voice, amazing. Yeah, cool. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up on the comments. I think there's going to be a few people in here tonight, so I'll try and keep on top of that. And apologies, by the way, for the blurred background. Behind me, it is a catastrophe of stuff and things everywhere, and you just don't need to see that. So it's a little bit weird, but I'm going to try and get everything sorted for the next one. So I digress. So HX1, it's a single, it's a pedal format effects unit that gives you one effect at a time. So who would want this? I mean, it's kind of difficult for me to say, well, I would want this when you work for the company, but this works for me. So this is perfect for a bunch of different things. We are going to get onto the unit and go through some stuff, and we'll play around and we'll push some buttons, but let's just kind of get this stuff down and out there. So this is a utility box, right? So if you've got a pedal board and you've got some mainstays, you've maybe got a switcher or some drive pedals that you love, you've maybe got an old delay that you love or an old phaser or whatever, but you've got a couple of slots in there or a slot that just keeps changing, right? You might kind of swap a delay out or a reverb, a flavor of the month drive pedal, you know, for if you play in sort of a session band, you might swap a compressor out for a filter effect, that kind of idea. So something like HX1 is absolutely perfect, because when you're looking at kind of, you've got a dozen pedals that kind of rotate a position on your board, you don't have to do that now. You literally just save a preset and you go to a different one. So it makes complete sense from that perspective. If you need a ton of stuff, if you want something that does, you know, delay and reverb at the same time, this is not the box for you. If you just need a utility delay, you know, you've got your standard digital thing or tape, but you need something wacky, or you need a ping pong, or you need something set a certain way, absolutely, this will totally work for you. Jose, and blurring of the background is blurring the fretboard. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll try and get closer. You don't need to see my fingers. It's, yeah. You don't need to see what I'm playing. But again, like I said, apologies for the blurring. It's just a bit of a mess behind me, and you don't need to see that. So Jose says, what's the preamp or IR? So good point. So the signal chain that we have, so I have a wonderful Yamaha RevStar RSS 20. This is going into HX1. I'm going to show you the HX1 in a second, and you can stop looking at my ugly mug. And that is actually going into Helix. So I'm using the Helix. That is my amp for the evening. We're using the Cali Texas Channel 1 stock cab, stock mic. I think I moved the mic slightly off the center of the cone. We've got a spring reverb in there, and we've got a drive pedal which we'll use later on. And that's the signal chain. So let's add, we've got hello from Panama. Panama, Colombia, we're around the world tonight. Right, okay. Can I get rid of that? There we go. Oh, sorry. There we go. Right. Hopefully, I'm going to do that thing. Can you all see my screen? You should be able to. So there is my HX1. I got this out of the box yesterday. I plugged it in, made sure that we were all good and working, and I've had probably half an hour on this today. So like I said, I don't have a lot of time with this, but we will absolutely see. You got some random pics. Let's put a pretty one in there. There we go. So this is kind of the first preset. So you will see a load of cables coming out the back there. So there's a cool thing that you can do. You can essentially do 4-cable method with HX1. And I'm going to get into a little bit of that later on, but let's just hear a couple of things. So preset 1 on this particular unit, and this is beta firmware, so anything could happen. So we've just got the kinky boost, and it does that. So if you have a Helix or you recognize the stuff, the interface, this is going to be very, very familiar and a lot of similarities. So just like, you know, the controls, you have the boost on there. Simple as that, bright switch. Easy as that. So if we want to change that, we want to go for my favorite. Let's go to the air apparent. There we go. We'll crank the gain up, leave the tone as it is, go to the boost mode, and take the level down a wee bit. So still there, still sounds great. So here's a great example. So we don't need to go through everything, but let's, you know, for one particular song, I want a fuzz. So I'm going to add the pocket fuzz, and I can just have that on a preset. And that's a great sound, but that's not something I'm going to use in every single song. So I can just have it on a preset, and I guess in the analog world, I would have to, you know, I'd have a massive pedal board, or I'd constantly be unplugging something, replugging it in, and that's just going to get really boring really quickly. So I can have all of these effects, 250 plus effects, at my disposal, any disposable effect too, at my disposal at any time. So things like fuzz, you know, if you're playing a covers band, you're going to want once in a while, and, you know, space on your pedal board is precious. You know, some of those spots are pretty precious, so you get your absolute bare minimum stuff down, and the rest is absolute gravy. So we're going to try and keep up with some comments, some handy uses coming to mind. We'll put it on there. Yeah. So simple looper, absolutely. The looper is in there. Noise gate, EQ, boost, pitch shift, absolutely. So some of these kind of utility effects that you're not going to use all of the time, but you might want for one song. you know, or a particular delay for one song. That's exactly what this does. It's that you can absolutely kind of, if this is your main drive pedal, and drive pedals tend to be my thing, you kind of go, oh, okay, well, I fancy this type of drive today, or I fancy this type of drive. You know, that's the beautiful thing about this. Change your mind at a moment's notice and you're away to go. Dustin says, one effect at a time. Absolutely, just the one. Again, like I said earlier, think of this as just a utility thing. You've got your mainstays on your board. You need something that kind of rotates. Sorry about the thing, just pulling apart some massive technological problems earlier. Go away. There we go. Getting a record going on screen right now. Great, technology is doing me well tonight. There we go. Right, apologies for the thing that keeps popping up. Like I say, it was a software scramble this afternoon trying to get this working, and it's not working. Brilliant. Not working properly anyway. So we carry on. Can you sign what each switch does? Here I jam. Yes and no. So this is your on-off. And this is tap tempo, or the flux, which we're going to get into. You can tell that what you want it to do, and we'll talk about that. Gabby says, amazing tone as always. Greetings from Madrid. Thank you very much. Go record. Yeah. So again, sorry, Kai. I don't know how to get rid of it. I've been cheap and downloaded free stuff. Is there a basic gate feature, or do I need to use a block? Can I run simple gate and the poly capo, or would I need two? It's a great question, and yes, there is a gate. So if we go into the settings, you have an input gate. So yes, technically it's one effect, but it's kind of two, I guess, although one of those is always a gate. There we go. So Caesar says, runs through an amp. I'll let Pod Go or Stomp. So Pod Go or Stomp can run through an amp, and just use the effects. You can utilize the preamp models, but yeah, absolutely. This is purely a Stomp box. It goes in the front or in the loop of your amp, or modular, or both. That's what this does. Looking forward to have some of the Helix what effects on my board. Yeah, totally. So this, if you missed it, is all of the effects from Helix. So if you're used to that and you just need something like a B-board, and this is going to give you all of those effects. Thanks. Shows how the tuner works. Tuner works like that. You press both buttons and there's the tuner. And I'm out of tune. Embarrassingly so. There's your tune. Not polyphonic, but there we go. Anyway, be awesome to back up Helix with it. So, yeah, you can't do that, and Memory Man. So, like I said, I'm new to this. I am still learning. I am pretty sure you can't back anything up from Helix as far as effects go, but obviously you can copy settings. This does have its own librarian that will be coming at some point. I really want that to go away and stay away. Right, okay. Right, hopefully that's... Kai, are we still seeing the record Raspberry iPhone thing? I don't like it. I'm going to try and not move the mouse because that seems to bring it up. Again, apologies. Technology is not my friend. So, moving on. Right. So let's go in, and we want to select an effect. So literally you go in, you hit the effect button, you scroll down, you select your effect, and you are golden, and that's very noisy. So if you want a different effect, so I don't want distortion, I want modulation. So literally you go into the main menu and you scroll down through, I want modulation, and I want chorus because I like chorus. There we go. Chorus that we all know and love. Again, I'm going to keep pausing because I want to keep on top of these questions. Set a certain number of presets like range 10. Yes, you absolutely can. So I actually have, you'll see this cable coming out here. I have an external foot switch, which I'm not really using at the moment. But yeah, you can scroll up and down with an external foot switch, and you can limit. So yeah, if you only use 10 presets to save messing around, you can just scroll up and down there. And I have a Mission TT2. I've just got that rigged up, and that will scroll up and down the presets. Sorry, the things come up again. I'm aware. Helix, board, connect. Similarly, yes, absolutely. Similarly, as far as the effects go, memory man. So if you have a Helix and an HX stomp, you could have one of these fine devices and just use that, for example, for the poly. The poly effect, pitch effects are really greedy on DSP, like mega greedy. So when you put one of those in Helix, you're very limited as to what else you can put in. So yeah, you can absolutely use this as just the poly effect and then something else if you so desire. Can you pitch your high gain distortion, pitch down your high gain distortion effect? Francisco, I don't know fully what you mean by that. But if you have a separate high gain pedal, you can use a pitch shifter in this to pitch it down, if that's what you mean. Please save names on your presets. You can save names on your presets. MIDI, yes, has MIDI. Dramatically underutilizing my HX stomp. Scott Martin in the house, but I'm willing to give up the shuffling looper and a couple of other effects. Plan to downsize to an Iridium and an HX stomp. Cool, it would be a fantastic rig. Organize your presets so you don't have to hook up to a laptop or organize them. I presume that you assign them a number slot within the unit. Yes, you do. If you want to move things around, I think you're best doing that through the librarian. It's going to be a demo of the Line 6 1 librarian app. I'm sure there will be. So next week, this time next week, we've got Tony doing, so this is the first look, we've got Tony doing a second look. And there we go. MIDI could be used to control presets on Catalyst. Yes, absolutely. Sounds very cool. And end up having HX1 Catalyst combined patches using HX1 boost reverb. Yeah, totally, you can do that. Downsize to Iridium and HX1. Yeah, HX Stomp, HX1, that either will be a fantastic rig, Scott. There we go. So chorus. So that's a chorus. And again, your controls. If you see the arrows, then there are pages of stuff and things. And again, without going through every single effect and every single category, you have all of the stuff. So this is foot switch extension or expression pedal. So yes, you have the wah and filter effects in there, so you can hook an expression pedal up and have this as a utility wah as well, if you so desire. So let's go to another preset. Let's go to the next one and just do the red squeeze. What's the release date? As mine is already on pre-order. Josh Gaines says the release date was yesterday, no, Tuesday. As far as actual stock getting into stores, check your local retailer. I'm afraid I can't answer that question. But yeah, not too long, I don't think. Looks pretty cool. Yes, it is. Jordan says, thank you, it's a great unit. I'm getting one to replace my Strymon Flint, Strymon El Capistan, and Strymon Lex. Fantastic. You just gave me all kinds of room on my pedalboard back. Yeah, so we're going to let you have more room on your pedalboard so you can add more things to your pedalboard. I love it. It's brilliant. Cosmo Rami Ricochet, you can show us something like that. Yes, I can. So let's go in. So this is probably a good time to show you the Flux thing, and I apologize, Kai, Guitar shipping 24th of November in the UK. There you go. Right, okay, so good time to get into the Flux thing. So pitch and synth. So let's go. Pitch wham. Right, so to set up Flux, so I think the default when you turn it on, you'll have a tap tempo like that. To access the Flux control, you just push the tap and Flux. So what is the Flux? Flux is a parameter control. So you could say it's kind of like a snapshot sort of idea if you have a Helix or you're used to Helix. So you can switch between one set of parameters within the same effect. You can switch between one set of parameters and another set of parameters. So what we're going to do, we want to, I'm not going to use the pitch wham, I'm going to use the simple pitch. I'm going to use that, I think. So to program this, program the Flux, we literally go, so I want the interval, and then when I press the interval, you will see two things. So I'm going to go unison on that one, and then when I press that, you'll see everything changes, and I want to go to +12, and then mix fully up, level, shift level, pan, dry pan, there. There we go. So this is where you can kind of adjust stuff. So you've got an on-off curve there. There you go. See that one better. So you can basically adjust how the ramp. So like that, it's really kind of quick. You got the off time, and on the previous page, the on time. So this is the time it takes to ramp up or ramp down. So if you put that at 0, so what was it? The ricochet we want. So 0. Off time 0, so that will be instant, and the curve shouldn't matter. Hopefully that kind of does, I think that's what a ricochet does. Let me know in the comments if it does or it does not. And a quick look at the comments. Pixel with over 200. There we go. There's a marketing thing for you. We'll have 250 effects available for the price of 2 or 3 individual pedals. The HX1 puts the Swiss Army knife to shame. Pixel, do you work in marketing? If not, you should. One that's pretty cool. Small. Dimensions, check the website for dimensions, and that will show you the dimensions, but not big, not very big at all. I don't have a pedal. I moved house not that long ago. It's on pedal board planner now, so you can go check that out. Kai did a thing actually on some of the forums, so you can see. Lee Shipping Canada, Here I Jam. Check your local retailer and they will tell you. Jake Stewart Music says this is like an M5 from the future. Yes, basically. So M5 was super popular, still remains popular, still used on pro boards all across the world in all styles of music. And yeah, this is kind of, whilst it's not being pitched as an upgrade for the M5, because you can still get M5s and they're still fantastic. This is kind of that sort of format, but with Helix stuff. Not much bigger than a Boss pedal. There you go. You had to use the name Flux. Yes, Flux. We use the name Flux. So now you need to buy this. So it's about half as wide as an HX Stomp, about the same size. So yeah, pretty much. Right, okay, okay, it works like on and off, but not momentary. Maybe not. Chris, I don't know at the moment. Let me see if there is anything in here that says that, and nope. Yeah, I think it's basically an on-off, not momentary. But like I said, this is beta firmware. I'm not sure what they've done with later firmware. If it's not in there, check the manual. If it's not in there, put it on our DO scale, and we'll see if we can do it for a future update. Alone, actually got a tuner. It has got a tuner. So many possibilities for Flux. Being able to automate the sweep over a relatively long time, 8 seconds or 32 beats. Let's do something interesting involving things with long reverbs or delays. Yes, so I actually programmed something which I'm going to totally embarrass myself trying to play something in a bit. But yeah, so let's go to, so we'll talk about the utility effect. So, so something like, so in one of the bands I play in, we do Beautiful Day by U2. And in that, the Edge uses kind of like a sweep echo. So don't necessarily, if I was using an analog board, luckily I use a Helix, so I have a sweep echo in there, but if I wanted that kind of, and it's such a specific delay effect, you know, I might not want to go out and buy a single pedal or something like a, you know, an older unit or even a Helix or stump, whatever, insert, you know, piece of gear here just for that echo. So something like an HX1, I've got it. Kind of thing. So yeah, another kind of selling point, I guess. So, so yeah, with MIDI, you've got all of the good stuff that MIDI has. It does have MIDI on the side there that you can just see. And there we go. Car, can you put 4 cable to the? Can you 4 cable to put the built-in gate in front and 1 in the effect loop? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I think you can definitely 4 cable method because that's how I am now. So actually, that's a good point that I didn't cover. So that. So basically how I've got this rigged up, so I've got the guitar coming in there, and then that is going to the front of Helix, and then in Helix I've got an effects loop set up, and that's coming back in and then back out. So I can have stuff in front of the amp model and behind the amp model, and that's what I'm doing here. So if I go to this preset, and this is per preset as well, so Kinky Boost is so that's before. If I go to that sweep echo, that's in the effects loop. So basically, if I go to the settings here, you will see. Right. So this insert position. So you've got 2 modes, I/O, you've got stereo, so you can just have it as a regular stereo effect. In this particular scenario, we have it essentially as an insert stroke 4 cable method. So with the insert position, so when it's pre, it means it would be going through the effects loop with this routing. In post, it's before the amp, so. So that's before the amp, and that's after. So there you go. Right, so sorry, Scott is answering Kyle's question about the 4 cable thing. So yeah, in theory, so yeah, you could go in and go, right, okay, I want, where is it? Dynamics. I want the hard gate, and I want that in the, that's in the loop, and then the input gate. So yeah, in theory, yes, you can have, if you so desire, you can have 2 gates on. Yeah, 1 in front and 1 in the loop. That's, you can use all of the gain. So Francisco, I mean, can the note be transposed using a built-in high gain effect? No, there aren't. The only kind of pitch effects in here, you got the regular ones and then the poly ones. They're just clean. There's no gain involved in any of them. I'm just going to do that because I just realized that's probably a bit weird, just the thing and my voice. And I'm feeling pretty tonight, so enjoy. So yes, Kyle, you can have one in the front and one in the loop. That could have gone another way entirely. I'm going to have a drink. Excuse me. Did a lot of talking. Right, so that's basically that. So like I say, you can have per preset, you can have an effect. If you want a drive effect, you can have that in the front. And then these are all obviously utility effects. If you're using it as a utility unit, or regular effects if you're using it as kind of a do all effects pedal, but remember, just one at the same time. Pixelot says the HX1 having an expression pedal, can that be used to extend the connection options on my HX Stomp? HX1 having an expression FS3, FS4 jack, can that be used to extend the connection options on my HX Stomp? I may be having a stupid moment, Pixelot, so just let me know what you mean by that, or what you actually want to do, because I can't, my brain isn't letting me work out what you mean. So let me know. Right, so okay, I'm going to put some gain on. So far you've been hearing the Cali, Texas channel 1, nice and clean, and now I'm going to put on the Air Apparent, because that's my favorite drive pedal. Actually, so here's a cool thing for Flux. So if you go back through our live streams, oh, that's so annoying. If you go back through these live streams, you'll see me do a super deep dive on the Air Apparent pedal. So this is a perfect time to show you another feature of another thing you can do with Flux. So you can actually have so this is kind of with certain things. So let's say this is now a utility drive pedal. This is my utility drive pedal, and I want to do some stuff with it. So I'm going to go to the Air Apparent, and on that mode, I want kind of a cleaner boost. So hold that, and I want to I'm going to change the clipping, and I'm going to change that, and I'm going to change that. Right, so with the Flux you can change multiple parameters at the same time, like you can a snapshot. So with that Flux, I want the gain there, and I want it on boost mode, and I want it on the normal setting, and I want the level up. I'm just eyeballing this, so we'll see how this goes. And then on the, oopsie, silly boy. And then on that setting, yeah, gain up. Clipping, distortion, yeah, right, perfect. So now we've got a clean boost. And you will hear that that sounds horrible because I've moved it, so. So I've kind of, I suppose if you're from the school of thinking that where you use gain pedals as your channels on your amp, you've now created a 3-channel amp. So you can have pedals going into this, and there's your clean sound. On there, I've got another kind of crunch channel. And then heavy gain. Etc, etc. So yeah, and you could do that with delay, for example. So I have a long delay kind of, normal quarter note stuff assigned to the tap tempo, for solo-y stuff, and then I'll have a slapback, maybe something else for a special effect. But yeah, I can kind of turn on delay, and then Flux can go between quarter notes and dotted eighths or sixteenths or whatever. So Flux is really, really useful. Again, with chorus, I had a very expensive boutique chorus once upon a time. It had 2 modes, and you could set one as regular chorus and then one as like a Leslie. So you can totally do that with the Flux. So very, very useful indeed. And I've turned it off. I want to turn it back on. Right, here we go. So Jake's doing Pixel. You're asking if you can use HX1 to control the stomp, i.e. connecting the 2 via MIDI. Using the one's additional FS controllers for the stomp. Yeah, I'm struggling on that. Pixel. I'm thinking of combining an expression pedal on the HX1 to control effects on my HX stomp, which already has a 2-button controller plugged into FS3 and 4. It's a great question, and my brain is trying to compute that. I don't think you can. I'm gonna say no because it's easy. But just check the manual. I can't think of a way that you could do that. You could absolutely do things through MIDI. Yeah, Jake, I think you have to use an external programmable MIDI controller for that, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you're going to have some kind of MIDI expression pedal that would control both things and maybe let you kind of switch between them. James parameters on the HX stomp via an expression pedal on the HX1. You could possibly do something. There'll be a workaround. So yeah, if you add an expression pedal, there's got to be something like what you want to do that you can do through MIDI, but I can't think how to do it at the moment. Someone much cleverer than me will watch this and probably reply to you. There's got to be something through MIDI, because yeah, MIDI is kind of cool. Fairly sure that wouldn't be possible. HX Stomp has a lot of strong MIDI command center options, but HX1 doesn't. Yeah, okay. And Kai knows all about that. So anyway, so Pixel, check the manual, have a look, see what we can do through the MIDI side of stuff. You might be able to do it as some kind of MIDI thing, but I can't tell you because I'm not sure. I don't want to commit to something and be a fibber. So there we go. Right. So here's a cool thing. So you'll see the title there, Rise. Right. So if you are, this is just a kind of another example of the Flux thing. So with the ramp, you can set the ramp kind of pretty excessive. So yeah, so the off time I've got set kind of like 6.5 seconds, and you'll see the curve is kind of fairly steep. Another drink, excuse me. So, and this was just something that popped into my head earlier. I thought, yeah, that could be cool. So the new-ish, or one of the new Extreme singles, Rise, Nuno's got obviously that absolutely mental, which I'm going to do a version of. It's absolutely not right, and it'll be messy and it'll be terrible, but it's just kind of for the effect. So on the second kind of pass round that, there's this weird kind of effect that comes on. So in interviews, he said it's a plugin that he used. The phaser actually is a plugin as well, but you know, why not? And it's quite specific, but kind of I was going through some stuff in this, and Plateau Reverb kind of does a similar thing. So just kind of another example of like the special effect thing. And obviously this is on my desk, so I can't do it with my foot, but it'll give you an idea. So that whole kind of... And then the second time round, it does this kind of thing. So you'll hear kind of the effect coming in. I'm going to add even a little bit more. So it's got the reverb on there. And again, I know that's not right. It's something like, and that's good enough for me because and it's impossible. So for the second bit, you could just hit this and it'll bring in the effect after a bit because I've just told it to. So. And especially if I turn the effect on. You moron, Ross. Jesus. Right. Should we try again? Sorry. So the effect on. So without touching it, I've created this kind of big thing, and with something like that, yes, you could absolutely do it on an expression pedal, but yeah, you want your foot free to put on a monitor and look like a rock god. And again, apologies, I understand that's terrible, but I kind of had to go earlier and went, that's pretty cool, so we'll do that. And that's the kind of noise it makes. I'm going to turn that thing off now because it's hissing. There we go. There we go. So if anyone was interested, that is I've not changed the amp, Cali, Texas channel 1, set clean. With the air apparent set to filth. So there we go. Right, what else we've got here? For the shows, is there any distortion models that are similar to the SA Ultra Wave? Source Audio Ultra Wave, where you can adjust each bandwidth. No, Pablo, there is not. Or is there? I'll be honest, I'm not super familiar with that particular one. I mean, there's some wacky synth stuff. Really wacky synth stuff. I mean, it is definitely more synth. Is there anything down in the dark area? Well, that's kind of oscillation stuff. It might be some... Oh dear. No, I'm going to say no, but kind of maybe have a play. Oh, there we go. There's a one-to-one model of it, but, oh, well, there you go. Shows that I don't know as much as I should. Do a lot of cool stuff with the pattern multi-band compression. Use a crossover to split the signal between two different distortion 6.0. Right, cheers, Jake. Thanks for that. Yeah, there's a lot of models to remember. So yes, again, Jake, thank you. So Pablo, go and check that out. I think we've kind of covered a load of stuff. Can Flux be set to switch to momentary? so you can do a whammy effect without pressing on and pressing off. Crack shot is a great question. I don't know the answer. I haven't had as long as with this as I would have liked, unfortunately, so I've just got some of the cool stuff down. But feel free, the manual is available, so feel free to download that and check it out. Like I said, next week, same time, same place, we will have the wonderful, beautiful Tony Campanovo having a second look at this, probably filling in all of the gaps, gaping holes that I have left, and many more questions that people will have. Not as far as I can tell to Kai. But see, Kai is there. Kai in the room. Thank you, Kai. I'll buy you a beer as and when I see you, but you're really far away from me. So, yeah, so anyone kind of, if I haven't covered anything, the manual is out there now. My buddy John Cordy's done a few videos of this. There are a few other kind of independent videos as well, so feel free to check those out. They will answer possibly some of the other questions that I haven't covered. And crash shot, maybe a firmware update, I guess. Yeah, kind of, sort of, that's what I said. Feel free to kind of, if it doesn't do it, we can confirm it doesn't do it, then chugging it on idea scale, like any other idea for our fine products that you would like to see, and it'll get voted up, and then people will go yay, and we'll go yay, and let's put it in there. Or people will go no, we won't put it in there because no one wants it. So there we go. So I think we're kind of pretty much covered. Jake, great stream. Thank you, Jake. It was a bit of a blag because, like I said, not a great deal of time with this, but kind of that is also testament to the ease of use. I mean, things like the Flux, whilst it's not a particularly complex thing to grasp, it's sort of, oh, okay, well, how would I use that? And all of a sudden it's very inspiring because you kind of go, oh, well, actually, well, I can do this, and I can have, you know, not just one drive, you know, HX1 can not just be one drive pedal, it can be two, because something like the Air Apparent, you've got the different modes. So you can go from a crunchy thing to a high gain thing, and then, ooh, well, that's sort of 2 channels of my amp, or, you know, or I can set kind of one for my clean channel and then another one set differently for my dirty channel, etc., etc. So the 4-cable method thing is awesome. I think that's brilliant because, like I said, you kind of, it's great kind of having these utility spots and spending a ton of money on pedals, but you kind of, it just gets really expensive, and then you get a utility pedal, and there are utility pedals out there, single ones that are really expensive, and there are some that are really, really cheap, but it's, you put it in the loop or you put it in the front, and unless you've got some switcher that can move things around, then you're stuffed, really. So the fact that you do 4-cable method with this, and you go, right, okay, I want this drive pedal or this fuzz pedal for this specific song, but that needs to go in the front. And then, oh, I've got this delay or this reverb very specific for this specific song, and that needs to go in the loop. You can do that. So it's brilliant. It's so well thought out. It's hilarious that I'm going, yeah, this is brilliant. I work for the company. Of course it's brilliant. But it is. I get excited about this stuff still. So, so yeah, just really, really useful stuff and things. Can do right, Carlos says crash shot, it appears you can do it expression pedal only. I don't understand from the manual at the moment. Yeah, there might be something in the expression where it's momentary. Let's just please hold. Let me just have a look at something. Let me just have a look at something really quickly. Expression. No, I'm just going to drive this out and confuse myself and get everyone's getting really bored. So I'll right. Jeff Bro, does it chug? Sure. I, however, do not. So I can't demonstrate that. I apologize. There we go. So again, Right, I'm dragging it out. I won't take any more of your very special, valuable time, but thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for dealing with my kind of technological issues. And like I said, next week, Tony doing another look at this, filling in any or all of the gaps, and going through some other stuff. And this is the beautiful thing. He'll have different kind of ways of using this than I will. I play covers in a band and I go, okay, well, actually, I want an auto wah for this particular bit, or I need a thing for this bit, and etc., etc., like we've said. So, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Jeff, but actually, parametric EQ. Yes, Jeff, it has parametric EQ. And graphic EQ, kind of graphic, like the Cali graphic. There we go. So go and check out the models, because it's got loads of models, gains and EQs and fuzzes and modulations and delays and reverbs and pitches and filters and many, many other things. So again, look, thank you. I'm going to stop that. Brilliant. Thanks again. Come next week, see it again. Go and check out some videos. Go and get one on order, because you're going to want it, because it's brilliant. And again, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Ta-da. Bye-bye.